Game number 3 on the way. Team Dignitas will have the first pick and the first ban this time around. With that in mind, do you think anything's going to change here?
Yanis Raw, that's a given. But after that, I think that Dignitas, if they're not first pick, which I do believe that they are, will probably be looking to leave the Athena open, maybe try and take it for themselves. They could also possibly choose to ban it again like they did in, or I guess during the LAN is when we saw a lot more of those Athena bans. It's been all about the Odin show this time around.
It's actually really interesting. Dignitas, I'm sure you can check back on your notes. Anecdotally, Dignitas always go for that secondary pick. They're really looking to get 2 selections, but this time around going for the first pick. Whatever they select will be very, very telling, because like I said, they usually opt for that second slot. Rival banning out Giannis as per usual. Dignitas going to ban out the Guan next to Wlfy's Ra. Last ban of the first phase belongs to Rival. It will be the Sobek. And so Wlfy is available if Dignitas want to go that route, if they want to empower Arkkyl. Kibo is also available if they want to put it in the hands of QvoFred. A couple of different options here.
Dig really do like their second pick. They do like their second pick a lot.
They always opt for it.
And so going a little bit against the conventional here, at least for Dignitas' standards, but I like the Athena strip away choice, and Rival kind of returning the favor. This is going to be the first time, actually, that we're going to see Vote have his own chance to show what he's got on the Wlfy.
Exactly. I'm going to gloss over the Athena pick because you touched on it already, but Wlfy being selected for Vote, like you just mentioned, Vote really rising to the occasion, and Vote has always had those games. All of these guys on Team Rival have had the ability to come through and be the guy in every game or in a game here or there. But most recently it was Vote who sort of had the consistent success, right?
Even at the LAN, I think that was some of the most consistent Hunter display that we've really seen out of Vote, and it was the real moment, because you've always seen Vote as like, oh yeah, this guy's clearly on the come up after the whole Justice incident, and now that's a definite glow up, no questions asked about that. But seeing him play at the LAN and even into now for his debut set of the summer split, I think that he is a really impressive player at the moment, and certainly working his way up there to try and contend for that top Hunter in like the Europe, or at least Europe, but
for sure,
looking for the world here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're getting here, he's no longer just a guy that's going to be consistently a 6 or a 7. Now he's stepping up and having those 10 games, having those 11 games. And Wlfy, going with the Poseidon, the steadfast player. He's had some issues on the Poseidon historically, but still coming back to it. Respect that. Second round of bans, no Amaterasu, says Team Dignitas, surprisingly enough. Rival ban out the Rat and the Robin.
And don't get me wrong, whenever there's clearly gods that are better than others, but and of course those are usually going to dictate a competitive sort of meta.
Sure.
I think it's so much fun though how Dignitas and Rival seem to share so many of the same gods. Like they all want to go for the same thing, and it's kind of like they're mix and matching, plug and play each other's drafts, and it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and every now and then you get a whole lot of something nice.
Every now and then you get a Hun Bats in the hands of QvoFred. This is a character that it's interesting as Artemis is selected for Arkkyl, and I like that choice. Hun Bats is a character that I generally don't think of him as a true assassin. His damage is relatively low, comparatively speaking to some of the other guys. He's really about fear, no evil. But he does bring a ton of damage. He can bring a ton of damage by way of the passive and the overhead smash. QvoFred was one of the first players that really made me respect the assassinhood of Hun Bats. Everybody drops the totem, but QvoFred drops players with the monkey. And I like that. Taco, is it enough for Dignitas to win the set?
I don't know if I want to say anything about Dignitas or their drafts. Same thing goes for Rival, man, because this is unpredictable, I think.
I mean, this is definitely really, really interesting. Vote's going to have his hand at Wlfy, one of the stronger choices right now for Hunters, and after the last game certainly should be empowered. Wlfy returning to the Poseidon that has historically given him some issues, but a lot of nice stuff in the jungle. Across the way, Dignitas have a couple of other choices as well. You're going to stay away from the prediction this time around, are you?
I think we're going to see a great game of Smite.
Well, golly gee, boys. Nah, I'm dummy excited as well. We're all the way to game number 3. Finch and Ryan, bring us the game.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Taco, for really putting your neck out there with that prediction.
So
as we go into brave, right?
How could she say something so brave, so confident?
I don't know. She's going to get blown up on Twitter later. I mean, that was bold.
Brutal.
But it's going to be game 3 between Dig and Rival. I mean, you couldn't expect anything better, and you all are the ones that get to call the shot. That Taco shied away from there. Who's going to win this game in the Mixer poll? Please let us know. If the Athena pick is any indication, I guess it's just going to be Dig.
It should be free, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side, I mean, Rival go with a kind of strange comp for physical. They put Achilles likely support. And that's what Collis played earlier during the Masters LAN. Now, if I hadn't watched the Masters LAN, I probably would be picking Dignitas free here. But Collis played so well on that Achilles support. He got so many executes, played it beautifully. Yeah. I don't think you can count out Rival's comp here. I really don't.
Well, we're ready to go into game 3 here between these two very, very close EU powerhouses. And it is going to be Arkkyl playing the Artemis. How is this matchup into the Xbalanque? Because Xbalanque is kind of the big hunter on campus right now.
He is, but I still feel like Artemis has the opportunity to play aggressively in this matchup because Vote has some wind-up time on that Rising Jaguar. If Arkkyl can get right on top of him before popping that boar, it'll stun out his dash if Vote doesn't use it at the right time, and then you can trap, then he won't be able to dash. I think there's opportunity once Arkkyl hits 5 to make big plays in this lane.
And it's very difficult to match a Xbalanque late game with all the extra damage he gets from his passive. But, I mean, Artemis is right there with him. Crit in the kit. The steroid very, very potent. So I like this pick for them to sort of match the late game prowess of the Xbalanque.
That's a great point. You don't get many opportunities to match X-Ball in the late game. One of the few that can is that Artemis. So I think it's a pretty good pick here for Arkkyl and a good switch up for him.
The sprint is coming out from both squads, though. Arkkyl wants to continue being aggressive here in the duo lane as everyone at home still on the side of Team Rival a little bit more than in Game 2. So we'll see if they'll be able to live up to all of y'all's support as Ice is on the Circuit, and Zyrhoes has to use beads and is already very, very low in the mid lane.
Ice doesn't get the ambush, instead opts for that Cobra's Kiss, and it ends up paying off for him because Zyrhoes now very, very low and has used all of his health potions. Only picked up 1, picked up 2 mana pots at the beginning with that book start. So could be that Soul Reaver rush. We saw Wlfy go for it again in the last game. As I said in game 1, not a big fan. Doesn't do as much in the early game because you're not taking as much HP away from the opposition. But overall, I think that if Wlfy goes for the Shaman's Ring rush, I'll be much happier this time around for the Poseidon. Love Shaman's Ring right now. I think it's a great item. And it synergizes so well with Poseidon because those tick abilities is what you're really looking for with Shaman's Ring. He augments the basic attacks on Trident with it as well. Gives him extra movement speed, which he already has plenty of. I think this is a perfect item for him.
Certainly looks like that's where Wlfy wants to go. And Wlfy on the Poseidon yet again, despite what happened to them at HRX, at Worlds. I love that he still goes back to this Poseidon pick in big moments. This is not as big as HRX, certainly, but this is Game 3, and what could be very important at the end of the split in terms of seeding is who ends up winning this matchup to determine who could potentially be on top.
Yeah, Spring Split proved every single game matters in the SPL Season 5. I mean, there were teams that didn't make it based on tiebreakers. It was very close.
Ice is here, though. The walls are waiting. Aegis is available for them and uses it. Vote's able to get the first blood onto Arkkyl. Team Rival already off to a big start, and it's onto the Xbalanque, too.
Man, Ice-Baby, what an initiation there. Believe found both with that Cobra's Kiss and locks them down beautifully. Really, really well played, and Ice has just been all over the map so far in this entire set. I mean, it was even in Game 1 where Dignitas ended up winning. Ice got off to a great start on that Ratatosker, was playing so well for them. Ice continuing that high level of play that we saw from him at Masters that earned him the MVP.
And Ice is mixing it up too. This time he's coming to gank the duo lane pre-level 5 early to try and put some pressure onto Trixtank and Arkkyl. We've seen him over in solo, we've seen him gank mid and fight in the jungle. He's not doing the same thing every game, mixing up the timings and the locations.
Very difficult to keep track of a player who's able to mix it up like that. Because of the pressure that Ice got on that duo lane in the first blood, that opens up the red buff invade, and look at where he's going again.
Oh, this could be trouble for Arkkyl and Trix for sure. The wall's coming out to try and create some space here for them, but Arkkyl really doesn't have anywhere to go. Those in-hands are coming in from Vote, and they're hitting hard. 2 kills now for the Hunter for Team Rival. A rough start of the game for Team Dignitas.
Now, Qvo has rotated over, and this might be enough to stop the purple buff invade, but iceicebaby isn't here, and once Dignitas recognizes that, I think that Qvo will play a little bit more aggressively. Vote has to use the purification beads. Here comes the Athena ultimate in as well from Variety.
QvoFred has to back up from those in-hands from Vote, but it's actually Collis who could be in trouble. Variety finds that last hit with the rotation from the solo lane, but Wlfy's now here, level 6, and with a Kraken that I think would love to say hello to QvoFred, doesn't even need it. Whirlpool puts him in the range for Vote to find the kill.
Arkkyl shows up level 3, and I'm surprised that Wlfy doesn't just gobble him up with that Kraken right away. Ice could be looking for him again. Ward spots out iceicebaby though, and remember, purple buff hasn't been dropped because that's QvoFred and Variety chased everybody off of purple, so Ice will finish that off for Vote, who is 3-0, by the way. That has always been bad against G-Ballake, to let them start 3-0. That isn't exclusive to the new passive or the way G-Ball plays now. It has always been a bad sign when you press tab at 4.5 minutes and go, holy, their X-Ball has 3 kills.
Yeah, it's bad for just about any hunter, but yeah, Ballake in particular. I mean, you kind of want that guy to struggle in the early game. That's supposed to be the point, but now, with a little bit of help from iceicebaby and good positioning from Collis as well, they have hurt Arkkyl now.
And this is actually one of the opportunities where the new passive hurts G-Ballake, because Vote would normally have 15 extra power right now by getting 3 last hits. He's only at 2,400 damage, so he's got less than that, about 2 stacks on that passive right now. So it's actually not benefiting him to be playing on the newest patch.
Yeah, you're saying old G-Ballake passive was better, right? That's what you're saying right now?
In this exact situation, yes.
In this one moment. No, you're exactly right. This would be one of those situations where it would be really scary, get out to 3 early kills, as Arkkyl might be dead to rights. Yes, again, the Aegis is going to immune a lot of the last breath damage, and Defender of Olympus from Variety means that Ice has to leave, but it also means Deathwalker can just keep pushing in solo.
Deathwalker doesn't have anything to take, though. That's the problem. If there were XP Harpies up or blue buff, this would be a lot better for Team Rival, but Aegis ends up saving Arkyl's life. But that is still, I mean, even without getting a kill, you force Arkkyl back to base, he misses another wave on the left side. He already lost red buff experience again. Now he doesn't have Aegis, so Vote, being 3 levels ahead, can probably just dash onto Arkkyl and have a good chance to get a kill in that lane. It's one of those situations where would Ice rather have the kill? Of course. Is he upset that he didn't? Probably not that upset.
Now this is a good rotation from QvoFred because Deathwalker played very aggressive. Ultimate to knock out both. Sprint comes out to create some space, and he's running right back towards his friends. Wlfy and Ice are there waiting in the wings as Collis goes aggressive in the mid lane, but that was very close. I think the rotation from QvoFred was key there to help her keep that tier 1 tower standing because Deathwalker was going aggressive.
No ultimate for iceicebaby, so no kill potential onto Variety, but you're right. I mean, that was a free tower for Deathwalker if Qvo didn't show up, but how much does that really help Variety to keep that tower up at this point in the game? He's already rotated to the left-hand side twice with use of that ultimate. You probably feel like he's got to do it again sooner rather than later with how far ahead Vote continues to be.
And Vote now playing aggressively in the dual lane, trying to keep Arkkyl zoned away from that mini wave. That's what you can do with the lead very effectively in that dual lane. Instead, they're going to clear it. When buffs are up, it's probably better to come back and just clear those. But if there's nothing else, just kind of zone the wave and keep them from getting any farm.
No zone quite yet, just because there is so much to do right now at this on the map. You have your own buffs that are constantly spawning, the enemy buffs that are constantly spawning. And another reason that Vote can't really zone effectively is because he didn't have boots. So if Qvo does rotate in, it's going to be difficult for him to run away without extra movement speed. Now that Vote has finished off those Ninja Tabi, I expect we'll see him start to zone out Arkkyl a little bit in that lane.
And really trying to exacerbate this 2-level lead he already has for himself as Collis rotates around to make a big impact on the Achilles. Another pick that we don't get to see and make it into the games as much, but it's been in 2 games now. There's been other picks that have had to be prioritized over this Achilles, and now we've got to see it make a big impact, and this time it's Collis playing it in support.
And as I mentioned, I probably would have said I don't like this very much from Rival, but Collis proved me wrong with how well he played this pick at the Smite Masters LAN. So gotta say, Dignitas is probably a little bit worried about it overall, considering how well Collis has shown he can play it.
iceicebaby continuing to play aggressive on this duo side of the map, and that's been the big catalyst that I would say for this lead that Arkkyl already had, or not Arkkyl, but rather Vote has already. Yes, Collis is there on the Achilles early, and you might think that's why we're seeing a 3-0 for Vote, but it's really been Ice kind of sitting on top of Arkkyl and keeping this Artemis down.
Well, Artemis now has access to the ultimate and Aegis. This is the first time he's had both of those up. Just hitting level 7 now, and the Aegis comes up back off cooldown. Still iceicebaby, not deterred. Still going to head on over here and keep getting Vote a lead in the XP department. And this is great because not only is it keeping Vote ahead, but it also gets Deathwalker ahead, because with Ice Up being on the left side of the map so often, someone's got to take care of the blue buffs and the XP camps on the right-hand side, and Deathwalker gets to solo the majority of those down by himself. So this is allowing that Cullen to get a lead as well.
You play rather freely, because Qvo's had to try and show some attention over the duo side. We did see Qvo come over and make that one gank attempt when Variety had to use Defender of Olympus. But aside from that, Deathwalker's kind of had free reign over here on the solo lane side. Now QvoFred showing some attention on the blue buff. It's Deathwalker who's aggressing into the enemy jungle. It's good that Qvo was there to help defend as Deathwalker continues to sort of have control.
But Variety is still in an okay spot, all things considered. He's made it to 10 minutes almost. Has a no deaths, is pretty even in XP with Deathwalker, only a little bit behind, and has plenty of CDR between the the Breastplate of Valor and the Shoes of Focus. So sitting at 30% CDRs and Athena at this point in the game, you're able to rotate around the map very, very quickly. Use your ultimate to get to left, teleport back to the right when you need it.
And aside from this duo lane, Dignitas have done a good job staying even. Zyrhoes is a little bit of experience behind Wlfy, who's been able to rotate and get an assist. QvoFred is right there with iceicebaby despite his 2 assists. And as you mentioned, Variety not too far behind Deathwalker, maybe a little bit of experience and not much else. So as long as Arkkyl can stay close and the rest of Dignitas don't lose too much, they're very much still in this one.
I think so, but you have to look for QvoFred and Variety start making plays together. That's why this Hunbats pick works so well, because Variety's job is to chase Purification Beads out as often as possible, and then Qvo's got to follow up and make them pay for using their beads in the wrong spot, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter which way you cut it. The equation is Athena taunt plus Hunbats ult at different times equals a dead enemy team member. It doesn't matter.
It just equals good in general, as Trixtank has to be careful. Team Rival are yet again aggressing on the duo side of the map. Defender of Olympus comes out from Varieties. He's here to make sure that Team Rival cannot go in any further. In fact, looking for a taunt, can't find it. Ice and Wlfy are going to be able to retreat, but that's what the pressure has earned for them. As soon as they see members on duo, Variety kind of has to come over.
Has to, and now Deathwalkers might be able to get this tier 1 tower. Lets him proxy this wave without a whole lot of fear, though. QvoFred is here and has that ultimate. Deathwalker still with a 2-level lead. He's got a runic shield. Can even try and invade this buff.
It looks like that is going to be the call from, but Rival is also going to go for the Gold Fury, as they had to commit a lot to try and slow down Deathwalker on the right-hand side. They show a little bit of face though, and Rival have to drop the Gold Fury, so that could have been much worse. Instead, though, Dignitas keep things relatively even. It's still about 2,000 or so in Rival's favor, gold-wise.
Variety able to seal away the blue buff in response, so blue for blue on the right side. Pretty surprised that Rival doesn't just stick to that Gold Fury and just let it be the toss-up that they love to do around objectives. Trust Wlfy to secure it. He's got more damage with Kraken than anyone else has in this game on the other side for Team Dignitas or for his own side. Usually Rival likes to try and contest those, or force the enemy team to contest those, and then not up to chance, but leave it to their mid laner to be the one to secure it, but that time decided against it.
Now, in all the games so far, it really has felt like the squad with Athena has been the ones that are aggressing, the taunt into damage, and they're the ones able to set the pace. I mean, do you feel that confident in Dignitas late, with Rival being able to start so strong? And this time, they're the ones that have the Shibalanke with all the damage. The big mage ult afterwards is on the side of Rival, not on Dig.
Yeah, I still am not that worried here for Team Rival, because Kraken is a great answer to Athena dash taunt. Zyrhoes needs some help here, but that's a good Fear No Evil. That'll secure the kill on iceicebaby, but Kraken's there waiting for Variety. XQ was a little bit early there from Kalas, and that'll get Variety out of danger. Kalas stunned underneath in between the tier 2 tower, and QvoFred will finish him with the overhand smash.
Yeah, it goes in a little bit too aggressively and gets punished. Qvo actually blinks back in towards Deathwalker, could potentially end up falling himself, but is able to make it right out of there. So it is 2 members of Rival that end up falling, Ice and Kalas, but it's actually them looking at the Gold Fury. Arkkyl now in trouble with Deathwalker, has to retreat, and Trixtank gets caught out by Wlfy on the right-hand side, but no mana, and Trix can dash out of there.
But still, someone's got to get back to try and defend this Gold Fury. Arkkyl's pretty low and doesn't have any relics or an ultimate. Variety has got to be the guy. He's coming back full HP.
And he's got a little bit of help from QvoFred as well, who does not have Fear No Evil, but they just show a little bit of presence, and Rival again have to give it up. Now Variety can kind of box it out with Deathwalker, who is going to be able to make his way away from that, but Rival still 4-3 in the kills, but have given up a couple kills here. Dignitas are evening things up just a little bit, inch by inch, Rival have certainly not run away with this.
The whole complexion of that team fight goes completely differently, though, if Kalas just finds the execute onto Variety.
Right.
The whole idea there is Kraken straight into Fatal Strike, but Wlfy didn't do quite as much damage to Variety as I think Kalas was expecting in that instance. Instead, ultimate hits, but doesn't find the execute. Then Variety baits them a little bit deeper in between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower, finds the taunt, and then pulls Kalas even deeper. Then Arkkyl's able to come over, supply some supplemental damage, and let QvoFred get that last hit. If that goes different, that goes completely differently. Kalas finds that execute. Rival can immediately either try and keep that team fight going in their favor, or head straight to Gold Fury and try and find kills afterwards.
And this does kind of raise the question for me. I mean, as the game goes on, what's Rival going to be looking to for their initiation? Is it Ice on the Circuit that's jumping in? I mean, Kalas has some with the stun, but it's not amazing. Does he have to, get blink and blink in for the stun every time? Or what are they looking for?
That's a pretty good call, rather, that where is their initiation coming from? I think it's just Deathwalker walking in front of Team Dignitas, forcing them to initiate onto him, I think is going to be the idea. So that's why I'd love to see a Spirit Robe for Deathwalker to try and prevent some of that follow-up damage, because Dignitas has that same combo that really gave Rival trouble in Game 1, Athena and Terra together.
And you mentioned it earlier, the counter initiation from Rival can certainly be strong. I mean, if the dash comes in from Variety, then maybe they can just all in him, drop the Kraken down, put the Whirlpool beneath him, pull him back in to a certain extent, and try and follow up on it. I mean, they have the tools to get that done, but maybe them being the ones to initiate on their own won't be as strong if Dignitas can even things back up. Arkkyl now only about a level or so behind Vote. That big lead that was there before, not as strong.
Wlfy is still content at this point in the game, though, to just kind of wait it out, because he really wants Spirit of the Magus before he wants to try and kill any of these Guardians. He needs that extra penetration onto Trix and Variety.
The ultimate is coming in. Defender of Olympus has been dropped, but Vote is going to drop an ultimate of his own. Earth and Fury is coming out, though. That's going to be big in the team fight. Kraken is committed on top of Trixtank, who's still standing.
But he will fall. Vote gets that kill. Arkkyl on the run as Variety's going to finish off Kalas on the backside. Look at Deathwalker just beating onto Arkkyl right now.
The Variety's going to come in and try and provide some relief. Zero puts good damage into Wlfy, but Deathwalker hunts Arkkyl down, even with Variety there, and puts him to sleep. Now they can turn their attention towards the Gold Fury. Vote is there. Deathwalker's with him as well, trying to help out. A big knock-up to try and set up some more damage to come in from Vote. And he's going to dash in aggressively. What?
Oh, he's looking for Qvo because Ice is there. Ice will find Qvo. Ice still alive. Variety going to blink forward and get the easiest double kill of his life, but Deathwalker is going to try and punish him for it. Won't be able to do so. Preemptive strike gets Variety out of there. The solo laners just cleaning house right now. Deathwalker did such a good job in that team fight. He took Zyrhoes out of that fight completely. Took every cooldown, ultimate, 1, 2, whatever, and still was nice and healthy. Then soloed Arkkyl by himself. Killed Arkkyl all alone, but Variety was still able to find the kill on the backside on a Kalas. Then that easy double kill off the blink. It's a little bit too aggressive there from Vote and iceicebaby for my liking.
Someone might need to tell Vote, try and pretend that he's not actually ahead, because my man dove in very aggressively there with the Rising Jaguar, looking to try and clean up one more kill. Couldn't quite find it. In fact, Variety now putting in good damage on the Deathwalker. I don't know how much solo potential he has here underneath the tier 1 tower, but he's going to keep looking for it and finds him. Deathwalker's done.
That was actually really smart by DW to put the tower in between him and Variety. It almost body blocked him away from that shield wall on the taunt, but still was just a little bit too low. Deathwalker never backed after that last engagement. Got a little greedy for the farm, stuck around, and got punished for it. Variety's playing so well right now.
Yeah, very important kill to try and slow Deathwalker down, send him back to base. Level 18 now. Variety can continue to push this, and if action happens, Defender of Olympus right over, and there it is. Trixtank gets aggressed on. Now they're the ones who are aggressing. Stun into the damage coming out from Variety, and Gold Fury being looked at. Kraken's used, but doesn't get much value, and now Wlfy's in trouble. QvoFred comes over. Aegis only for a second, and they take him down. Vote, though, right there to make the trade.
Qvo gets his ultimate off before he falls, though. Ice loses his beats because of it. Kalas stunned. Variety with the double kill. Another one for the solo Athena as Ice chases down Zyrhoes by the Gold Fury.
Zyrhoes going to continue to try and dance it out, but Vote not going to be able to make the same dance happen. Arkkyl happy to give a little bit of payback as Ice takes down Zyrhoes, who's now looking for the jump away.
Nice
Actually, the blink is what gets him right on out of there. 3 up against 2 for Team Dig.
Ice still lurking, and Ice's presence is enough to force Dignitas off the Gold Fury. Trixtank's backing, and Ice, you could tell, really wanted to try and find Arkkyl all alone, but Arkkyl has purchased a Magi's Blessing, which will make it very difficult for iceicebaby to find him quickly. So instead, he'll escape towards this right-hand side. Variety is just huge, man. 8-0-2, level 19. How in the world is Rival going to handle that? Especially with Wlfy not going for the Spear of the Magus, instead going for Divine Ruin. So helps to anti-heal that Terra ultimate, but really feel like he needed a Spear of the Magus. And now he needs Gem of Isolation at the same time. That's part of the problem with Poseidon, is that you really need Gem to be effective in the late games. That's taking up a guaranteed item slot. Now it's delaying your Spear of the Magus that much more.
And now Wlfy is in trouble here in the mid lane, cracking down on top of himself, and QvoFred actually does get kind of blown up. Variety does chase him down. He's divine at 9-0-2, but QvoFred is in a whole heap of trouble. He is able to avoid the Rising Jaguar, but not the auto. Vote finds him behind the tier 1 tower, but Strife lands on the Ice Ice. Zyrhoes has plenty of damage in his own right and has to retreat from Deathwalker. Good
taunt, though, from Variety into the board coming out of Arkkyl, but Deathwalker's not too worried about it. Does chase out his thorns, but he's A-okay for the moment. Well played there by Wlfy. That's the life of a mid laner. Sometimes you know you're dead. You got to make sure you get all your damage off while you can, and Wlfy guarantees a return kill. Well played.
Paulus forced to use the ultimate to get away as Deathwalker is able to finally track Zyrhoes down the backside and finish him off. And in the mid lane, these solo laners have been a huge problem for their respective opponents trying to deal with them, as Variety 9-0-2 and Deathwalker 2-1-3. Not as impressive KDA-wise, but has been a nightmare top of the player damage charts.
Man, where were these solo laners in Spring Split? It feels like they, everyone was saying, oh, it's all mid jungle. ADC doesn't do as much. Solo doesn't do as much as it used to do. Solo has really made a big impact for a lot of Season 5. I mean, I'm thinking of Scary D and how big he has been for Trifecta. Look at this game alone. In this whole set, it's really been Deathwalker versus Variety.
And whichever one of them can have the bigger impact, as Rival was looking at the Gold Fury, but Trixtank and Arkkyl showed some presence. Variety channeled the Defender of Olympus, so that's going to be down. They're all here now for the full 5-on-5 fight around the Gold Fury. I feel like they've been here in this jungle for like 8 minutes trying to win this fight cleanly one way or the other, but they just can't. It's been so back and forth.
Just like that right side Phoenix Siege in Game 2, right? Where it feels like they're there forever, and it's really because these teams have been around that Gold Fury forever to try and get an advantage around it, but just haven't been able to break it quite yet. And coming into this set, we kind of thought it was going to be, at least I thought it was going to be a lot about Zyrhoes versus Wlfy, how well those two are going to play against one another. Both of them have kind of struggled here in this game. Certainly more Zyrhoes than Wlfy in the struggle department. 0-4, only level 15 right now for Zyrhoes. Arkyl's even surpassed him with the rough start that he had in that dual lane. And that credit just goes to Deathwalker, because Zyrhoes hasn't been allowed to play the game so far with the way Deathwalker's played it.
Oh, but this is smart from Rival. They're going to come pull this Gold Fury again, and this time Dignitas are not so much in position. Trixtank has a chance to get here, and that's all it takes. Defender of Olympus, and Trixtank showing face, and Rival have got to retreat again.
It's because Kraken just won't even do enough to kill Variety right now, or even get that close to killing Variety. Deathwalker taunted into some damage, but he only loses about 1/3 of his health bar because of that combo from Zyrhoes. Didn't have the Soul Reaver nor the Soul Gem proc available. That's where his damage is entirely dependent on if he has those two items up and ready. And that's why I don't really like that build overall, because it is so dependent on those two items being available. In the 40 seconds that Soul Reaver is down, your damage feels almost irrelevant in comparison.
Once again, Team Rival is going to come pull this Gold Fury. I mean, it hasn't even dropped yet. It feels like they've been fighting over the whole game. As Zyrhoes is here, so is Trixtank, and Rival recognize that they've got some vision, so they can tell that they're not going to be entirely alone trying to pull this one. Trixtank looks for the wall, can't find on the Ice Ice, who has the Magai's cloak anyway, but though the back did just come from Deathwalker, I'm not sure if Trix is able to spot that.
No teleport for Deathwalker, so if they realize it, this is the right opportunity to pull it for Dignitas themselves, and looks like they saw it.
iceicebaby is lurking, though. Half health for the Gold Fury now. Taunt down for Variety. That's also going to be a big deal as Ice Ice comes around the back. They do pop the Mad Guy's cloak, so don't have the CC immunity, and now Rival, they just pick the Gold Fury right back up themselves, and now they're pulling it, and it got about half health. They have to drop it one more time as these two teams continue to launch the volley back across the net.
Feels like Wlfy is really calling that he just needs to farm, need to get that Gem of Isolation before this next fight. Now backs, buys it, and this could be the time where Rival are going to try and pull this Gold Fury in earnest.
He's so far ahead of Zyrhoes, though, who has, as you mentioned, struggled to try and find that same farm. Level 15 now is quite far behind Wlfy at this point, and far behind in build. Doesn't have the pin online yet. Tier 2 of the Obsidian Shard. Has the Soul Gem and the Soul Reaver, so those big procs will still help him out a good bit, but not as much against these tankier targets like Deathwalker and Collis.
Well, the good news for Zyrhoes is that Deathwalker's first 3 items weren't really that tanky.
That's fair.
Against Magical, especially when Zyrhoes is out of range of that Runic Shield passive. He hits his Deathwalker from max range with his 2-1 combo. Don't believe he'll be affected by that magical power reduction that Runic Shield provides, so still can do decent damage to Deathwalker, but certainly now that he finishes Obsidian Shard, will be doing much more relevant damage.
Gold Fury once again being looked at by Team Rival. It feels like they've waited so long to grab it that it might just break the back of this game, right? Whoever ends up getting it at a certain point, and then that team can kind of run away with it at that point, because we're approaching 25 minutes, 24 and a half. The kills are even. The gold is all but even. The experience is the only big difference between these teams, and that's going to start meaning less and less soon. Really, it's between these two mid laners where that gap is so exacerbated as Rival again start to look for some damage onto it and need Dignitas to step a toe out of line. Variety's taunt does not find the target.
Collis does still lose the Magi's Blessing in the bubble, though, because of Trixtank. And the nice wall stun. I think this is the time to fight for Rival, because Zyrhoes will eventually catch up. Arkkyl will eventually catch up in damage. You don't want to wait around too long and just kind of wait until Dignitas is back in the game. Use your lead while you have it.
Yeah, this is it. They're able to find an opportunity in this narrow pathway. Variety gets the taunt off onto Vode, who is forced to dash away. Fear No Evil comes in as well, but doesn't really find the big teamfight ultimate that they're looking for. Rival have got to be happy with how that fight went. They have all their ults still.
Yeah, Dignitas used 4 ults there. Earth and Fury and Fear No Evil, the 2 of the best teamfight ults in the game, and 1 relic was used. Vode used beads, and a Thorns for Deathwalker. That's it.
Well, they've got away from that Gold Fury pit, and finally a fight goes their way. Rival now with a chance to go in the tier 1, but QvoFred's looping around on the backhand side while the rest of the team comes in. Overhand smash, puts in good damage onto Wlfy, but with no Fear No Evil, that was not as big of a loop as he would have liked.
Go for gold. Go for a more neutral objective than the tower, because Dignitas is using the tower to their advantage. Instead, Rival just backs it up. Man, that's the opportunity, Finch. I mean, you use 4 ults on Dignitas. You use 1 relic. If you're Rival that you really are worried about in Vote's beads, that's the opportunity there. And Rival, I feel like, has got to be kicking themselves for not immediately going for Gold Fury or Pyromancer. Something to force Dignitas into a neutral state where those ultimates being down are much more impactful. Underneath the tower, that can make up for the lack of an ultimate. That constant barrage of damage coming from the structure itself can act as the ultimate for you instead of having to use one.
And that fight from Dignitas, I mean, you got to be worried if you're Dig, because that was not the way that that fight's supposed to go on paper at all. I mean, Fear No Evil doesn't really find the targets. The beads from Vote is enough to get him away from all the control all at once, and he jumps right away. I mean, it's supposed to be you go in for the beads and then reinitiate later, right, with the Fear No Evil.
Again, you can't stack them. Got to go taunt, wait, beads. That's where Magi's Blessing's tough to play around, because you don't have to use the beads right away if you're iceicebaby or Collis, where you have that bubble.
Pyromancer, though, is going to be the target. Callus is at half health right now, so if he wants to continue being the front line for the team, it won't be quite as easy. Deathwalker now is going to walk in and put some damage onto Arkkyl as Variety dashes in, pulls in Collis. The Whirlpool's there in response. Collis is low, and the Fire Giant is adding some extra damage here to this fight. Arkkyl is trying to put some damage onto Deathwalker, but has to use the Aegis, and Deathwalker's now going to retreat.
That's a win for Team Dignitas, though. That time, they're the ones who chase ultimates out from Team Rival. A couple relics from Collis as well. Collis on this Achilles just has not been able to make an impact so far in this game. Don't believe he hasn't found a single execute, sitting at 0, 4, and 5. Player damage is only marginally better than that of Terra, and Terra's bringing an awful lot more in the team fight category with her ultimate in comparison to Fatal Strike. It's night and day. So this Achilles pick has not worked out thus far for Collis.
And you kind of highlighted it as Pyromancer is being looked at by Team Rival. Variety, the only one around to try and stop it, and that's enough. Again, Rival are afraid to fully commit onto the objective.
But doesn't that feel uncharacteristic to you?
Yes!
Rival is like, they rival it, right? Like the European scene has coined a term where you just throw a Gold Fury or an objective to the wind and feel like you're going to get it, because they often do, because they do it so often. Like that's their thing. That's their bit. For every time we say Hindu Man's a savage, Rival throws themselves at a Gold Fury for seemingly no reason. And it almost always works out for them. This entire set, they've been really gun-shy around objectives, and that's uncharacteristic for them.
I am a little surprised that that's what we've seen as Variety goes in for the taunt onto Callus, does take the Magi's cloak away from him, so he'll be a little bit easier later on. But again, Dignitas now are the ones grouping, and you highlighted it. If they keep waiting, then they're going to have big damage to play around these two Guardians, Trixtank and Variety, plus the QvoFred ultimate. They cannot wait any longer. Deathwalker now very low. The Whirlpool was there to deter further aggression, but Dignitas have control of the Fire Giant Pit, and they want this Pyromancer. Wlfy's here, though, and has the Kraken. As Taunt goes in on Arkkyl, the damage there to follow. Kraken really only hits Variety, and he shrugs it right off.
He's not worried about it. Did a third of his health, not even on that Athena sprint. Popped as Kalas falls on the backside. It tricks Tech, and now iceicebaby is a little bit isolated on the left-hand side, but Dignitas already got what they came for. They get the pick, and now go for the Pyromancer. They can honestly just go straight for Fire Giant here. I think that going straight for the big boy would have been the better call, but probably get both in this spot if you're Dignitas. Rival had to back it up.
Now, Wlfy is still lurking around. He wants to try and come in and throw some damage over the wall. Doesn't have the ultimate, but can still put a Whirlpool, but no, he's gone, and this Fire Giant should be free for Team Dignitas. I think Rival sat on their hands a little too long here, Ryan, and now Dignitas are the ones who have control of this game.
It's just been Variety, man. The Spirit Robe there is the big reason why he doesn't get popped by that Kraken. He gets that damage mitigation as soon as he's knocked up, and he just took no damage from Wlfy's Kraken. You gotta play around your relics a little bit better. I think if you're a Rival, try and use your beads almost to bait Dignitas into bad spots. Because if you're just waiting for Athena to come and taunt you, then you're not, and you're just playing super far back. That's where she gets all of her power, right? She's zoning you away. She's forcing you into awkward team fight positioning. And yeah, it sucks to be giving your purification beads up, but it's the same way you play around Sobek at times, where you dare him to pluck you. You beads the initiation, and then you win a big enough fight that your beads being down don't matter. That doesn't happen yet for Dignitas or Rival, honestly. Neither team has done that well against Athena so far this set, and that's why she's been first pick and why she's won every game.
And they might be just hurting for initiation, this Team Rival roster. I mean, how do they then start the team fight if they don't really have that Athena for themselves, as Kalas has to use the ultimate to dash away? Tier 1 town on the left-hand side is going to be in a lot of trouble. There's still plenty of towers for Dignitas to get and try and help out, with Zyrhoes catching up gold-wise to Wlfy. Once they do, then they'll have Trixtank and Variety to set up for the Arkkyl Zyrhoes QvoFred damage.
And that's a scary prospect, to be sure. Now, it's certainly not over for Rival, because Deathwalker is still in a great spot overall. He's still full build, has been frontlining very, very well thus far for Rival. Vote is still Xbalanque with a fully stacked passive, does 1 million damage in the late game. So it's not over by any stretch for Rival, but they've got to play a little bit more like themselves in these team fights in order to find a victory.
And they don't want to give up all this gold for free. They're fighting on the tier 2 towers as Trixtank is in the jungle. Iceice wants to try and loop in on the backside. Boar has come out from Arkkyl as well. Kraken off the mark, doesn't find anyone. Meanwhile, Deathwalker continuing his own away too, but Iceice already low. QvoFred just needs the monkey toss to try and catch this up. In fact, he's faster. He has the speed buff, but misses, and Iceice might be able to escape.
Qvo might have Blink available. Ice not running to the safety of his tower, instead a little bit down towards the minions. Ice has cooldowns where QvoFred does not. Ice should be able to escape here, and indeed he will do so, but tier 2 tower falls in favor of Dignitas.
And looks like Iceice is going to be able to survive after all. Qvo could not hunt him down, but you mentioned it, the tier 2 tower is already done. Qvo is going to keep pushing up in the solo lane so they can take tier 2 in solo as well. This is the goal that Dignitas wanted. They did want to try and get in and get to finish and find some kills, but this is going to even things up for them, if not give them a big lead. Now they're up 6,000 gold, and that's pretty big in and of itself.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's really about the structures on the map, because Rival's mostly full build, if not entirely full build at this point in the game, just waiting on their 5th and 6th items in a lot of cases for Wlfy, for Ice, and for Kalas. So gold doesn't matter that much, specifically to Vote and Deathwalker. It's more about that now Dignitas has an easy win opportunity. They kill 3 or 4 members of Rival, they get to strut down mid lane and end the game. Rival, on the other hand, they need to win a fight awfully cleanly, because the enemy Titan is going to be very, very tanky with this many structures up. Best case scenario, you win it in right lane, and you get to push down right tier 2, right Phoenix, go for the end. But then there's still 4 towers and 2 Phoenixes left on the map. That is an awfully hard to kill Titan if that's the case. So maybe you want to win in mid or left, but you still have to deal with a tier 1 at that point. It's just an annoyance for Rival. They might need to win 2 clean team fights here to win this game, whereas Dignitas is easily 1 team fight win away from a victory.
And winning that team fight is going to be that much easier for them now. I mean, think about how they were behind. I mean, Vote had 7 kills, I want to say 15 minutes ago. He hasn't had a chance to get any more kills. Wlfy was ahead of Zyrhoes by 3 levels. That disparity is all but gone at this point. Team Dignitas have stalled this game out long enough to now it really just comes down to the team fight and the team composition themselves. Who can execute better? And the margin of error, I feel like for Dignitas, it's just so much smaller. They've got so many more ways to control the fight, to get the fight started and get their damage off than Rival does.
And it really hasn't felt like Rival's been the aggressor since the dual lane ganks early in the game.
Yeah.
It's because Variety has been the aggressor every single fight after that. Now Rival has positioning and they don't seem to want to give it up right now around this Fire Giant as it's about to spawn.
They've got some vision right here too. See that ward right in the middle of that Fire Giant pit, and the Fire Giant is certainly about to spawn, but Team Dignitas are here as well, so we're certainly going to have our full 5-on-5 fight, and it feels like it's going to be for all the marbles. At least if Dig win, they have their win conditions set up for themselves as they try and find the stun on the right-hand side. Can't find that. Callis goes in and takes poke. We said that a bunch of times here already. Trixtank, though, Kraken, Whirlpool, Earth and Fury comes out to keep him alive. Last Breath is on him as well. Ice hunts him down and finds the kill, but Wlfy is in trouble as well as Variety hunts him down the right-hand side.
Oh, but Wlfy's still alive. Ice is as well, and so Arkkyl hits him with a big crit, but look at Deathwalker in the middle of 3, trying to push everybody back. Arkkyl in execute range, but Callis can't find it. Deathwalker finishes it off anyways. Rival find the pick. Trixtank out of position on that right-hand side, got baited trying to get a Magi's Blessing bubble, and instead gets popped himself.
That's just not worth it for Team Dignitas, as now they're going to have to wait 45+ seconds for Arkkyl to rejoin them, 20+ seconds for Trixtank to come back as well. Rival, though, they don't have positioning enough to go for the Fire Giant right away. They don't win the fight, but Team Dignitas don't lose that much either. It looks like they certainly still have a chance to come in and defend this Fire Giant.
Trix is going to be up in about 12 seconds, so it won't take too long for him to come and rejoin the fight. But Arkkyl being down for 25, I think Rival should just pull this Fire Giant.
They should.
Now, will they, and will they commit to it, as they used to do a lot, haven't done yet today? We'll have to wait and see. It's largely dependent on when Wlfy's Kraken cooldown will be available.
They are going to at least pull the Pyromancer. That should be theirs. Reach available for Variety if he wants to try and steal it and be cheeky. Not going to be able to get in there in time, but... Or maybe he is. That goes the way of Dignitas. What?
Wow. That's just the game Variety's had so far.
Yeah, I get feed the hot hand, right? Sometimes it's just going in.
I mean, he's a solo laner, Finch, and he's been a part of all 13 kills.
It's gross.
For Team Dignitas. Every single one.
He's the reason Arkkyl wasn't behind 8 levels at the beginning of the game.
Right.
Because he came over the Defender of Olympus as well. So yeah, Variety has had his name all over this game so far, and now Dignitas are back in the Fire Giant pit. If they can keep Trixtank in the fight and not picked on the right-hand side cleanly, then I think Dignitas certainly still have a strong chance to get this team fight going their way.
Variety looks for the taunt. Deathwalker jumps over it, so won't lose that. But Callis loses a big portion of his HP and his Magi's Cloak bubble. Trixtank's able to escape. Certainly the poke war goes Dignitas' way there. Callis lost almost half his health bar, and no one from Team Dignitas even received a scratch.
iceicebaby is lurking nearby, though. QvoFred's the one trying to keep tabs on him. Callis is at about 60% HP, jumps over the taunt yet again. They drop the Whirlpool onto Variety, but Callis is the recipient of a ton of poke yet again. Fear no evil is enough. They are able to control the fight and take down Callis very early on. Deathwalker comes in to try and find the low health targets. Nothing is coming up for the Kraken, and Deathwalker could be in trouble himself. Taunt back in, thorns are ticking. QvoFred's here to help, and he finds the kill. 2 go the way of Team Dignitas, and finally they win a fight cleanly.
So it's all about the Athena Hunbats combo. A little bit different than how we drew it up initially, where you pull beads, then go in with the Hunbat Salt. How about hitting someone with no beads? Hit him with the taunt. Qvo immediately blinks in, blows up Callis, who, again, has not been an impact at all in this game. This Achilles support pick has not worked out for him, and that's really been the difference maker for me. It's just been it felt like a 4-on-5 in a lot of these team fights because Callis in the pick for Callis has not really worked out. Callis is obviously a great support player. Probably should have won MVP at Smite Masters. Just played out of his mind.
He did.
That entire LAN, just this pick has not worked out for him.
And Dignitas are exploiting it perfectly. Collis will be back up here momentarily, but already trying to siege this mid-Phoenix now as Team Dig. And don't forget, they've got some sustain coming out from Terra. It's not a ton, but it's enough that's helping out for them. Mid-Phoenix is already down and no way for Rival to get in there and try and defend this one. They just needed a fight where they could be the initiators, have clean follow-up, and Rival just did not have an answer.
No, none. And it's just, how do you answer a Fear No Evil that covers that much area in a small corridor of the jungle? It's split up Rival just using the geometry of the map very, very well. Qvo is swinging hard right now. That Deathbringer, I mean, he's only got 5 damage items pinched. One of those items is defensive, and he's still critting for 1k on the damage buffs. That means he's going to be critting for about 700 to 800 on the actual players themselves. Shouts to Red Pot and Fire Giant buff.
Yeah, man. Hydra's not hurting either.
Nope.
With that passive proc. So QvoFred certainly able to bring plenty of damage. Everyone on the side of Team Dignitas is, and they've just got the setup to let it loose. And Wlfy has not been able to find the mark on these Krakens a few times as well. But, I mean, can you blame him? What is it that locks someone down long enough for him to be able to get the hit off? It's just not there, and Dignitas now can group up in left lane and try and pressure this last Phoenix. Rival is the team that could defend any base, it feels like. If they can get it done, they got to do it here.
It feels like someone has got to make a play on a Variety because there's just been no answer. And Wlfy just doesn't have the damage to bring him down alone. That's one of the problems with Poseidon in the late game, is that even the tanks aren't that concerned about your Kraken in the late game, no matter how much pen you have.
It's going to be Variety going in, taunting onto Collis, who jumps in and does a little bit of damage, but not much else. The mini-wave is here again, and now they can create some space for Zero to find a Strife over the wall. Not that big of an impact. Ultimate comes out from Vote, and Dignitas have got to go on the retreat. Last breath lands onto Ice, who's incredibly low, but Arkkyl's the one that takes him down. Trixtank finds Vote as well. This fight's gone heavily in Dignitas' favor, and they continue to surge. Collis is the next one on the chopping block. Double kill for Arkkyl. Phoenix on the left-hand side. They don't even need it. They're going to run right past it. Dignitas, they remember what happened in LAN. They don't want to repeat. They're coming right into the Titan room so they can shut down Rival.
Dig gets their revenge against Team Rival. The cycle continues online. Dignitas taking another set from Rival during the online portion, who Rival obviously do very well on LAN, but the online portion, they just cannot get Dignitas' number.
And this is where I feel like Rival, especially at LAN, were strongest. In the picks and bans, I think they might have lost this game the moment that Collis ended up on this Achilles, because he just did not have the impact that they needed. And that's usually one of Rival's greatest strengths.
Well, was it when Collis got the Achilles or when Variety got the Athena? Because that first pick, Athena, ends up being huge again. Variety is just the man. And it isn't even in the late game team fights where you really expect Variety to be the dude to carry these team fights. It was the early to mid game, the early rotations using the Defender of Olympus, that double kill by the Gold Fury. Variety was just unkillable all game long, and that was the real determining factor in my mind for Dignitas' victory.
And I think it absolutely was. We talked about it during the game, but I mean, Arkkyl was under all kinds of duress from Ice, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where early, like 6, 7, 8 minutes into the game, Variety has to ult over to duo. How often does that happen? And that's what they needed. That was the stopgap, that fight, that prolonged fight around the Gold Fury where they couldn't cleanly win. That was what they needed.
Variety helps out Arkkyl when he's behind, then Zyrhoes falls behind, so then Variety and Trixtank just kind of stalemate that Gold Fury fight for 10 minutes.
That's what it
allow
felt like.
Zyrhoes to get back into the game, allow Qvo to get his farm and get towards that Deathbringer in the late game. Then all of a sudden, when everyone's ready to go, Variety's like, all right, cool, let's do it. And for what it's worth, Zyrhoes had a great late game. He was pumping out tons of damage, popping tons of Magi's bubbles, doing great damage. Didn't get any kills to really show for it, but he was staying safe, dealing solid damage in those team fights, and he did his job really, really well in the late game. It was just Variety helped him get there.
Well, it certainly sounds like we're leaning towards Variety as the MVP here as the casters, but what do you all think in Mixer Chat? Go ahead and vote for us in the poll right now. That way we can get your opinion on that one as well. And then I'll go ahead and get over to the desk so they can break down that game.
I don't know how you can pick anybody but Variety. I mean, the solo lane Athena came out. He was crushing it. Tom here with Anatoly, actually, to wrap this one up. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good, and the whole theme of this set was obviously the Athena back-and-forth action between these two European teams over this highly contested Guardian pick. It was surprising to see the start of Season 5. The meta, right? The assassins. All assassins. And then all of a sudden, we're getting a Sobek and an Athena battle of the picks and bans.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that was the Athena of the game.
You got me. That was good. That was good. That's why you made that face. I was like, I didn't say anything remarkable. You must be onto something here, Thomas, and you were. You sly W.
That's how we do it here. But yeah, no, for real. Variety just on top of everything. And a return, I think. Something inside of me, this Dignitas team is full of stars, but there's something inside of me that feels a little bit more balanced when Variety is the guy leading this team, because this was Variety's new team, remember?
He was feeling it. Yeah, they did make that team back in the beginning of Season 4.
Yeah.
They changed their name to Dignitas once they did get picked up. And it doesn't matter if he's playing the solo Camazotz, Thanatos, or Aggressive Warrior. He can still play those Guardians and rely on helping his team get those kills. And he is going to be the MVP. And even with such a tanky build, the timing of his last hits has been very successful.
Actually, that was something that I wanted to ask you about specifically, since you're our resident solo lane expert. Variety was extremely far ahead. At this point of the game, I think he was 4-0, if not 5-0, with some assists as well. And he went from the cooldown boots into the breastplate into the Genji's guard. With that much of a lead, and clearly I'm more curious than criticizing here, with that much of a lead, would it behoove him to go into like a Void Stone or something slightly hybrid, or is he still better off just going the tank?
It was still good. It was still good because of all the MP5 that you get from Genji's guard. Void Stone would be effective if he's trying to set up Zyrhoes playing the Discordia, but not his problem, but what he was going for was just Defender of Olympus, and the timing of the damage was very solid. He got a last hits with that ability, not to mention Shield Wall does so much if you can confirm the double tap, and once you get Confound maxed out, it's a 2-second taunt, and that confirms the second tick of it. So the solo lane Athena, still successful, even tanky.
Really, really, really nice stuff there from Variety, and I'm very happy that Ryan actually mentioned the prowess that Zyrhoes was doing as well, making sure to pop the Magi's blessings. Zyrhoes wound up doing, honestly, what the solo lane winds up doing, where you have a huge impact on all the X's and O's and don't necessarily make it to the scoreboard. You're well aware of that. It seemed like Variety got all the kills and all the damage and all the numbers, and Zyrhoes was doing the dirty work.
Well, that needed to happen because Game 2, when he was playing Sobek and he would look for those pluck engagements, it was so dicey for him. He would put himself out of position. So when Zyrhoes pops those Magi's cloaks, all of a sudden now, once Variety does go in with Athena, his taunts will actually land, and it's going to be providing to be fruitful.
I'm trying to focus really hard on Dignitas and how they succeeded, because Kalis dropped the ball completely on this Achilles support. Sorry, no wiggle room there. 0 kills, whatever. 6 actually, that's not a whatever. When you're playing an Achilles support, you need to be able to bring those kills.
Well, the thing is, even though he wasn't the one landing a lot of these last hitting blows, he was setting a vote very well playing the Xbalanque, just doing lights out performance. He got a lot of kills early on, but Rival couldn't translate that to the objectives to take a stranglehold of the game.
Right, and that wound up being an issue. And my point was that Kalis dropped the ball playing on that support, did not find the success that he wanted to, but the team around him played all right. It was really Dignitas stepping up and taking this victory away, so that's going to be a great look for the Europeans. Dignitas actually get their revenge. Keep in mind, the Spring Split champions will be Team Rival. Took them full 7 games, but they did beat out Dignitas here in the regular season. Dignitas takes the inaugural game for Europe. Let's move